All right, in this video, we want to look at bootstrapping data. And as I was writing it, I did make one mistake in the mapping. And let's see if I still have it up here. Yeah, so we can see here before I set up a one-to-one relationship from attendance to user. And that is actually wrong because we actually have a one-to-many there. So I've gone in and refactored this. Let's see, get over here. And you can see that I've added in this RFB event attendance to event attendance. So we get that property because that's actually a one-to-many relationship there that we want to have. And I've removed that and I regenerated the project to update the entities. And now we can see RFB user has a set of attendances, which is exactly what we want. It's a user is going to go to many events, so that absolutely makes sense. And RFB event attendance, that still has a many to one, but we have that single user property. So better mapping, and that was a mistake on my part. Now, to initialize data, I've gone over and wrote a class here, and there's a couple different ways that we can initialize data. One is to tap into Spring events, and there's a context initialization event. That is the traditional way to run this. Command line runner is a new class provided by Spring Boot. So here we are using a Spring Boot project. So I am tapping into using the command line runner. And basically what this says, when we implement this as a Spring component, Spring is going to be looking and is going to call the run method. So I've set up a little application here to get a handle on the repositories provided by Spring Data JPA. And I have a constructor here. So when you're doing Spring development, it's best to be injecting properties to final variables and then use a constructor. And I think it was Spring 4.3 that allows us to omit the auto-wired annotation on the constructors. So a nice feature there. So the Spring framework can look at it, inspect it, say, okay, I got a constructor there, and he knows to go ahead and inject these properties. Now here's my initialization routine. So I create an RFB user called Johnny, and then these are the locations that I've run with here in St. Petersburg, Florida. So we start off on Mondays at Ale and the Witch, then right around the corner it's a corner bar, then St. Pete Brewing on Wednesday nights, and Yard of Ale on Thursday. So setting this up, and I'm going in and creating RFB events for all these. And here, here is where I'm actually creating the event, and I'm just using an event date of right now. So I know that that event date won't be corresponding to the Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday for that location. For the initialization of the data, that's just fine for our purposes. So this goes in and initializes the data, and it runs on startup. And it, again, just remind you, I'm going to do a count on location repository. So this is going to be fine for development. I'm not looking at profiles. So the first time I run this in production, I want to go ahead and initialize some data in there so that we have it. The next time I run it in production, this will never run again. So that's perfectly fine for our purposes. Now let's go ahead and I'm going to toggle over to Chrome. Actually, let me do this. I want to show you the differences here. So I'm going to copy that, Control C, Control A, Control V. And now we can see this is how our entity model has changed. So this is a better mapping than what we had previously. Now I'm going to come over to the H2 console, and we'll do a connect there. And we can see here's the tables that have been created for our entities. And let's take a look at this. So you can see that I need to restart. I did add in that date, so that is going to be loading the next time I bounce this. I won't take time to do that, but trust me, that is there. And let's go ahead and run that so we can see the attendance is getting set up. And so this is behaving nicely for us. Yep, clear that. So UI is just a little funny. So we can see that our data is getting populated there as we want. So this is all good stuff. And let's come over here and take a look at the application running. So I already started this up. So I am logged in. So we can come in. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't log in yet. So by default, we have admin. So we'll get logged in. And let's take a look at the RFB locations. So we can see that here's the 4 locations initialized. Take a look at events. So those are there. My event data is null, but I've gone back and added that to initialize that property. And take a look at RFB attendance. So that is looking good. So we can come in here and see the RFB event, or drill down to see Johnny, our user. And then we have all the other JHipster goodness that we can look at here. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the initial data model. I think that's going to meet our needs. And from here, we'll continue evolving this application. So this kind of following domain-driven design here. So we set up our domain. I'm pretty happy with it. Now we're just going to have to make this into a real usable application. Obviously, this isn't something that we want to return to the users, but I think we got some pretty good first steps here.